Hey, welcome back. In the previous video, I showed you how to create a good query to ask ChatGPT. In this video, I want to stop a little bit on the Python code that we are getting from ChatGPT. I want to give you a rough introduction to the Python language. You don't really need to know this, but it's just some extra knowledge that will give you some more orientation of what's going on here. Let's start from the query. So we ask ChatGPT a query and ChatGPT gives us this code. So what is this code that ChatGPT gives us? Well, when we install Thonny, we installed this program that you see here where we write codes and we have this file structure here. But also on the background, we have also installed a Python interpreter. That's also another software which Thonny installs on the background. Now, this Python interpreter is a software designed to understand Python code, Python language. So this here is just a language and the interpreter is interpreting this language. And then the interpreter translates this code to machine language, another language which the processor, the computer processor can understand. So your computer processor is getting like this code but in another form, and then the computer processor follows the instructions. For example, in this case, it does create a folder named all with 100 folders inside. So that's how Python works. You write the code, you execute it, and when you execute it, you are sending those instructions to the processor and you get back the output. Now let me go quickly through the Python code just to give you an introduction to what's going on. You don't really need to know this actually, but it doesn't harm to have some knowledge of what's going on. So usually at the top here you'll have one or more import statements. For example, here we have one, import OS. OS is a module and import is what we call a statement. So you are importing that module. Then this one here is a comment. So it's not actually an instruction, it doesn't tell the processor to do anything. This is just a comment, usually for programmers, so you know what's going on in the next line. So this is actual code, os make dir, so this creates a directory named all, and here you explain what this code will do. So ChatGPT is writing all that code for us, and it's also creating some comments, so that's good. And then we have the other comments, so create 100 directories, 1A, 2A, that's also a comment. So it's just for us to know what's going on in the next one line or in the next multiple lines. So this comment is explaining what's going on in the next multiple lines, right? So in these lines, the generation of those 100 folders is happening. So that's all you need to know. You don't need to go through the details of each line, but roughly that's the idea. So if you want to understand some more about the Python code, it's good to read the comments and then you'll know what's going on in the next one or multiple lines. But if you want to get some more explanation about the code, then you want to read the explanation that ChatGPT gives you, right, which is under the code here. So we ask the query, we get one or two sentences here where ChatGPT is telling us what it's about to do, and then we get the code, and then here you get the explanation of the code. So the OS module is imported to work with directories and file paths and so on. So it does explain then the OS make dirs directory, so it's referring to this. And then the for loop, which is this one here. So that would be another place where you could learn more about the code. Again, I would like to emphasize that you'll normally not need to know about the codes. You'll probably never need to know about it. So what you need to know is how to be a good communicator with ChatGPT. So even when ChatGPT does not give you the correct code, which does not produce the expected output, Even when that happens, you should be able to know how to follow up with more questions to make ChatGPT give you the actual correct code. And I'll teach you how to ask follow-up questions, how to create follow-up queries in the same chat unit. So with that, thanks a lot for following, and I'll see you in the next videos with more examples.